we have a lot to talk about, hence my mostly done coffee, which I know I should not be having, and my stomach will hate me later. We have a lot to go through, so let's catch up. Welcome back to my channel, A Gut Feeling. If you've never been here before, my name is Kat, and this is my channel all about spreading awareness about gastroparesis, a stomach disorder that I live with. So I know it's been a little while since my last update, and I was trying to be a little more consistent, but school is kind of a lot, which we will get into, but mostly this video I wanted to talk about my lungs and give you guys kind of an update on what's been going on with my health right now. And right now it seems to mostly be my asthma that and my lungs that have been having some pretty serious issues. But a lot of you may know, and if you're new here you may not know, I do have asthma, and I've had asthma since I was a child. If you hear a little like pit patting, that's Ellie running around. Where do I begin? So this has been going on for the last like 4 or 5 months that I have noticed at least, but can you come sit? Hi, yes, I love you. Can I give this update, please? Please? Maybe? Okay. This has been going on for the last few months. I noticed that my breathing had been getting a lot worse, and it was kind of weird because this was still during like the summer, and yes, I do have allergies and things like that, but I was having to use my inhaler like a lot at night. I would wake up 3-4 times at night because I couldn't breathe. I'd have to use my inhaler 4 or 5 times. I'm doing this movement because if you have asthma or if you've ever used an inhaler, you know it's just this little thing. And I'm Italian, so I like to express my words with my hands. So my O2 levels, which is your oxygen level, was regularly at 94, 92, and at the lowest it was dropping to 85, 86. A lot of you might be yelling at me right now because people were telling me that I probably should have already gone to the ER at that point, but I don't know, I've had some bad experiences at the ER, and I know that doesn't matter when you're having an asthma attack, but I would use my nebulizer and I would usually be okay within like a minute or so. And a normal range, if you don't know, for O2 is usually 96% and up. So anyways, I ended up getting an appointment with my pulmonologist, and luckily it's the same pulmonologist I've been working with for a while. They do take Medicaid, so that's great. This is the nurse practitioner, and I actually really like her. She's very nice and down to earth and listens to me completely, and she's very on top of it. We do labs, I've gotten CT scans, and I've done walking tests. And at first, when I did my first walking test, my oxygen had dropped so low within like the first 2 minutes of me walking that he had to put an oxygen tank on me, the tech. Then my oxygen only rose, you know, a little bit. So we were wondering, okay, well, why is that happening? And the second thing that was going on for the breathing test I was doing is when I was breathing out, I was having a very, very hard time like getting all of my breath out without it being super painful. So we put me on, she put me on prednisone for a little while, and I'm also taking 2 new corticosteroids. Actually, taking the corticosteroids seems to be helping a lot, and then the prednisone helped, and so we tested me again, and I didn't need an oxygen tank, which is great. I was pretty nervous about having to carry one of those around. I was like, great. I traded my feeding tube backpack for an oxygen tank backpack. Like, I was already looking into all of that stuff, but we ended up finding out that I have something called Aspergillus pneumonia. I want to get into Aspergillus pneumonia or Aspergillosis, and that's what all this is for. I promise I'm going to make sure that this video isn't super long. I've never heard of anyone who has had Aspergillus pneumonia before, so this was all definitely new to me. And of course, you know, when she said pneumonia, I was like, wait, pneumonia? How do I have pneumonia? This doesn't feel like, you know, your typical pneumonia where you literally are, you know, drowning in like fluid and having to go to the ER and all of this stuff. So I did some research into it just to, I mean, I always do research. I'm very thorough after I've gotten gastroparesis. Let's go ahead and just get into what aspergillosis is. So Aspergillosis is a fungal infection that is caused by a mold caused by Aspergillus, which is a species of mold that is found basically all over the world, indoors, outdoors. It's pretty much everywhere. We're all breathing it in all the time, all of these little mold spores. However, some types of the Aspergillus and Aspergillosis can cause pretty severe diseases, but can range from like a simple allergic reaction to a very severe invasive disorder. Basically, Aspergillosis can be broken down into 3 types. There's allergic, there's chronic, and then there's invasive. So an infection is most likely to occur in individuals who have already pre-existing conditions or weakened immune systems. So pre-existing conditions like asthma, cystic fibrosis. Immunocompromised people are people who are taking very high steroids, who may be on chemotherapy, who have gone through organ transplants, things like that. So yeah, Aspergillosis develops when an individual breathes in those spores, but it is not contagious and it cannot be transmitted to one person from another. So like I said, there's quite a few different types of Aspergillus pneumonia. I'm just gonna go over the one that I'm pretty sure my doctor said I had. And I'm gonna read right off of this paper because these are big words and my brain needs to look so that I can say them correctly. All right. We believe that I have allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis. Basically what's happening is these spores set off an improper response from an individual's immune system. Initial symbols resemble those associated with allergies and usually include chronic wheezing, shortness of breath, and a general feeling of poor health or malaise, which I had really been feeling too. Like, yes, I'm very tired usually anyway because I do think I have chronic fatigue syndrome stemming from other issues. It also says that fever can occur, but that's not really common. It can cause chest pain, cough that brings up blood or brown colored globs of mucus, and excess of certain white blood cells. So this type of infection usually doesn't spread to other areas like the invasive one would, but it can cause complications if diagnosis is delayed or undertreated, which includes chronic widening of the bronchial tubes or severe persistent asthma and loss of lung function. Which, yeah, that sounds a little bit scary at the end, but luckily, you know, I went to my doctor. I think we are starting to get a little bit more under control. We're just keeping up with my rescue inhaler, but like I said, I'm taking 2 corticosteroids, like an oral medication called Montelukast for my asthma, but I've been taking that for a while. She wanted to start me on a new antifungal medication called vorcanizole. Oh, I'm sorry. I was supposed to be taking that for 6 months. It's a 6-month treatment, and it took a little while for the insurance to go through, and then we finally got approved, and I started taking this vorcanizole, and I did look up the side effects because I always do. Like I said, I do a lot of research. I was taking this medicine for 3 days, and the first day it was really bad. I just thought it was because it was the first really high dose, but this drug causes visual disturbances, and disturbances that I have never had to deal with ever. So it's not just blurred vision. I was actually seeing odd color perceptions. Like things were looking pink, or I was having really bad photophobia, which is like sensitivity to light. It was very painful. I couldn't even keep my eyes open at times. It was giving me a headache, to the point that I couldn't focus on my schoolwork. I couldn't study. I couldn't really even like have a conversation or do anything. I felt it was just very hard. So I stopped taking it. I told the doctor what was happening, and so she offered that I could take a different antifungal, or maybe we could just try a higher dose of prednisone for a longer amount of time. And I did think about it, but this other antifungal I'd never taken before either, and I wasn't sure if it was gonna be the same as the vorcanizole, so I honestly just went with the prednisone. I have taken prednisone before for a long period of time, and yes, it causes some very annoying side effects. I have a whole video about the side effects of prednisone because at one time I had to be on it for more than like 3 months. She said I'm gonna have to be taking it for like 5 weeks. Said, and then we'll see if that actually helps get rid of the infection. Because when I was taking the prednisone, it was helping, but the thing is, like, you don't want to be on prednisone for long term. So it's like, is this actually going to clear my infection, or am I just going to have to keep taking prednisone every time I it gets bad. So yeah, that's basically what's been going on for now. You guys may have seen that before I actually was confirmed with pneumonia, I had been going to like a couple restaurants with friends and like trying to social distance and wear my mask and stuff. And I do realize that even then that was a risk because I have asthma and gastroparesis. And once my pneumonia was confirmed though, I think that set it even more in my head that like, you know, I need to be very, very cautious, very careful, especially because I've learned that cases are jumping again with corona. My mom, who works at the hospital, said they went from 1 case to 12 literally overnight. No, that's a bit scary, and we can have a discussion about that in another video. Thanksgiving break is coming up, and then my finals, and then I have like a whole month before I start my next semester. So I'll be able to really like put out a bunch of content that I have, that I'm sitting on, that I've been working on. I just haven't been able to put it out because really school takes it out of me. I'm taking 4 different classes right now. This is my first time back to college in like 7 years. You know, when I'm not studying, when I'm not doing homework, I sleep. Or I'm just watching, I'm like zoning out to really bad reality TV. I've watched like 3 seasons of Love Island, okay? This video is long enough, and I'm sorry I just seem to ramble. I just like talking to you guys. Especially during quarantine, I feel like I don't get nearly enough interaction, even though I live with Gary and my mom, and I think I'm like driving them crazy, honestly. But more good things to come, just please bear with me. You know, between school and all that other personal stuff, I'm still dealing with my depression. You guys know. I mean, if you have depression, you know. I guess if you don't have depression, you don't know. I have another update sooner or later, and more videos for you guys, so stay tuned. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for staying here and listening to me rattle on. Thanks for just checking in with me, and I will catch you guys in the next vlog. Alright, bye!
Ellie, say bye-bye. Say bye-bye, Ellie. Bye-bye, say bye-bye.